On Friday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present India's union budget. For the next 4 days, we'll bring you special reports on expectations, priorities and challenges. We've spoken to many experts across sectors and we'll be bringing you their takes as well. But first things first, what is a union budget? A budget is a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the government for a fiscal year. The budget contains two crucial parts. One is called the revenue budget, the other is the capital budget. What is a revenue budget? A government spends money to offer various services to the people. It also receives money from people in form of taxes. A revenue budget basically contains both revenue received and spent, earnings and expenditure. Similarly, the capital budget consists of capital receipts and capital expenditure. This will keep an account of loans from public, foreign governments, capital spent on health, education, manufacturing, so on and so forth. So to put it in simple terms, the union budget is basically the annual financial statement of a government. This budget, the one that Nirmala Sitharaman will present, is extremely significant. It comes at a time when the rural economy is in stress. The government has to intervene. That intervention is needed. And now the government did announce some income support for farmers in the interim budget in February. This Friday, they could follow up with more announcements for the rural economy. Experts say that more investment is needed for rural development, and they're also calling for urgent banking reforms in India.
I think that one of the areas that the budget is going to focus in on is agriculture. I think that you're going to see some incentives in this budget to help the farmers. Look, there's a lot of people to feed in India. And there's no question in my mind that the farmers are going to be a group that is going to benefit from whatever changes may happen in the tax code. You know, the tax code in general has a tendency to pick winners and losers. I anticipate that the farmers will be part of a group that is the winners.
The immediate steps which will boost the economy will be economic investment of some 100 crores or so. Rural development, something like huge expenditures are required on the rural development. There has to be a banking sector reform.
The budget will reveal the government's reform priorities and the government's position on key issues like trade disputes and corporate taxes.
Ordinarily, I think the budget as a policy-making instrument is a bit less important than it was, say, 20 years ago. But I think there are three main things that the international community and the Indian business community are going to be looking for out of this budget. First and foremost, of course, is the first budget of the Modi government, Part 2. The budget speech. What are some of the main reform priority areas the government intends to focus on in the coming years? Second, and this is particularly, looking at the international trade fight that is happening between the United States and India. Will the finance ministry make any concessions on customs duties as part of the budget? Third, one of the big asks of Indian industry leading up to the budget has been a reduction in corporate tax rates. So seeing whether or not the Modi government decides to move on reducing corporate tax rates is the third big area.
Now, exports is one area which needs attention. Infrastructure development is another key area of focus.
India actually has an opportunity now worldwide, specifically that pertains to the tariff war and the trade war that's currently underway between the United States and China. India may very well have an opportunity to step into having increased exports to the United States. So I think that window that exists right now will increase India's ability to move up on the economic scale worldwide. Another area that I think requires attention by India in order for India to truly be a modern, competitive economic power worldwide is to have the proper infrastructure.
So a lot on the finance minister's plate at the moment. Besides these sectoral expectations, several economists believe that the budget will set the tone and send the message of fiscal discipline.
So the first thing Nirmala Sitharaman has to do is to make some adjustment for the short-run economy so that we get a revival from the low growth rate. I think it's very essential for her not to overdo anything. Governments often make mistake of overstimulating an economy. She should not do that. She should do some gentle correction and not actually go overboard.
So this is expected to be an agri-focused budget, a budget that will aim to maintain fiscal discipline, a budget that will aim to stoke growth and introduce reforms. That's the rough expectation. All eyes then on the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who will aim to revive growth in the economy with her maiden budget.